Hi, my name is Sarah Katabi, and this is my book report on The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. My takeaway and interpretation of the ethos incorporated in the story is that my sense of Oscar Wilde is that he is a strategic, cunning author. He utilizes many cases of irony to appeal to the readers, which allows them to further connect to the text. Wilde integrates his comedic character into the story through the far extents that the characters go through to end up in situations that were typically avoided in the first place. In this manner, Wilde pokes fun at societal social norms and through his work demonstrates to the readers what kind of person he is. When he ridicules society, evidently through his character interactions, this does not foster a sense of reliable trust from the reader's end, since you know that he is purposefully triggering a new style of thinking, one that is blunt and untrustworthy. The overall text showcases how he perceives his own characters in society, and this in turn shines a proof of concept to the author's personality. For example, the main characters Algernon and Jack have a playful relationship between the two. Even though through uncomfortable times, the two men follow through with their humorous nature, which sometimes leads to even more confusion instigated by the readers. The complexity and series of dramatic and thought-provoking events in the story reflect Wilde's own personal beliefs and own way of life, which shows in the story. Pathos. As mentioned in the previous paragraph, Wilde's diction is indeed thought-provoking and raises questions about social norms in society through the characters' unconventional and insightful interactions. For example, his rhetoric not only adds humor to the play in rather alarming situations, but in addition uses his playful tone to move the readers and to perceive initially serious topics encompassed in the work in a way that is characteristic to the title, which contradicts the rhetoric of the author and mood of the story, another layer that adds dimension to the book. By emphasizing the words, intentions, and tone, Wilde was able to establish the mood and emotionally impact the readers to continue reading and to understand the deeper message ingrained in the story. The setting also contributes to the effect by setting and establishing the scene as a wealthy and sophisticated home, especially because the reader can notice that there are many butlers present in the house and homes. By introducing Wilde's use of syntax throughout his story strategically appeals to the audience's feelings, reactions, and emotions. By introducing a specific interaction first and then sequencing the other scenes to follow in that particular order, Wilde highlights the implicit irony within the acts that compel the readers. The context behind this, as an illustration, is that the characters in the story pretend to have a first name of Ernest so they can be loved by the person that they desire. However, the ironic moral of the story is that the author reinforces this to show the readers of the importance of having an earnest and sincere character, which is actually a conceptual contradiction. Logos. Jack states to Cicely, "I am obliged to go up by the first train on Monday morning. I have an appointment that I am anxious to miss," by Wilde on page 41. This is an ideal example of when Algernon prompts the audience to consider whether Wilde intentionally reflected Algernon to represent his own demeanor. The irony of Algernon's character adds to the signature comedic effect to the play as reinforced before, as well as makes the audience see Algernon as a character foil to Jack, who is both serious and earnest. This is a strategic contradiction implemented in the story to support the logos of the story to emotionally impact again the readers to see through his message and understand the irony of these character interactions. To exemplify, in another particular scene, when Algy and Jack dreaded Cecily and Gwendolen eventually meeting each other, the reader can note that because Jack and Algy pretended to be someone they weren't, and subsequently conflict quickly arose between Cecily and Gwendolen, they became distant after thinking that they were both engaged to the same man, Ernest. The key takeaway for the reader is to understand that the dread further supports the integration of irony in this story, and that this character situation uniquely provides insight into the moral of the story, how adopting honesty and the principle of being earnest can play a significant role in the story as well as in real life. So, therefore, the audience may ask questions such as, why do characters like Algy pretend to be earnest, and what attracted Cicely and Gwendolen, among many other characters in that society, to love and value and appreciate sincerity as well as the act of being earnest throughout the series of events manipulated in the story. In addition to that, to answer that question, you also have to take the rhetoric into consideration. So the reader must also ask, how does the rhetoric of the story support the moral of the story, and what personal factors of the author could have influenced him to integrate irony to prove his message? Thank you.